I asked somebody a long time ago. I took a story writing class in college, and I wasn't really sure what a story what even was. And I asked the professor. I said, what is a story? I felt really silly to ask that at the very beginning of a class. And he said, oh, that's easy. A story is change.
Hi, Chris. I'm Lalo Alvarez from Puli Films. First of all, I wanted to say that I love the movie. It's amazing. It touched me in a really deep level. So thank you and congrats on this amazing story.
Thank you so much.
The Wild Robot talks about love, friendship, purpose, meaning, and a lot of other things. But I'd like to ask you about this feeling of knowing that you have a call on this life, but sometimes it's hard to know what it is. Like Ross in the beginning of the movie before meeting Bright Bill. You're supposed to have this goal, but sometimes what if you can find it?
The message that you're talking about is the idea that sometimes you may have to change your programming. We are all products of the environment that we grow up in. There are things that are born into us and things that we learn, and they make us who we are. But life will continually change that, and you're always going to run into situations, I think, that you're going to be challenged by. I've been really thinking a lot about this through these interviews, and I came to realize that I think that we're so protective of ourselves. We're frightened, I think, sometimes of losing who we are, and changing our thinking is hard sometimes. But every time in my past that I've been forced to change the way I see things, I've grown, I think. And the process of making these films, I listen to a lot of artists and I collaborate with new people, and I learn things, and it makes me a better filmmaker, I think. Maybe not, but I think.
No, I think you're right, and change is so important. And I think I'm gonna link it to my next question. That's watching the movie, I thought of a quote by Miles Davis that says that there are no wrong notes, just notes on the wrong context. And throughout the movie, we see how Rose changed her program, like you said, and the context around her also changes. I think you mentioned it, but the balance of changing ourselves and then the context, or what's the priority,
I asked somebody a long time ago. I took a story writing class in college, and I wasn't really sure what a story even was. And I asked the professor. I said, what is a story? I felt really silly to ask that at the very beginning of a class. And he said, oh, that's easy. A story is change. A character that changes through a journey, or a journey or an environment that is changed around a character, or both. And that is the case of Roz in this story. She is, I think, a force for change, but for a very beautiful reason. Peter Brown's guiding principle as he wrote the book was the idea that kindness could be a survival skill. And it's this programmed kindness and this unrelenting goodness that is part of Roz's programming that begins to change everything around her, just by nature of her goodness. And it's such a beautiful idea and a beautiful message, and it's unique, I think, to this story. And it's one of the things that I hope the audience feels and sees, and it's one of the things I think about now that I've worked on this film.
I'm sure they will. And for my last question, I just want to know, I think one of the key elements of this film is humor. And why this decision of having this acid humor, but at the same time it's a story so lovely, so deep, and so touching? How do you manage that?
We manage it. It's hard won. It's something that we all work together as a crew to balance it out. We watch these films many times during the making and finding the right balance. But having all those things together is critical. You can't have emotional moments that resonate unless you have moments of humor to balance it all out. So balance is important, especially in a film that's going to have this much emotional impact. You've got to have highs to balance the lows, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And have a good one.
You too, thank you.